Okay, next item is conditional use permit for short-term rental that is not the primary residence of the owner on Yellow Brick Road. Can these two be taken together? Okay, all right. Please proceed, Amy.
Amy Brooks, Office of Planning.
She was just asking, can we take them together? I think we can cover the testimony, but they're going to have to be separate actions. Yeah.
Amy Brooks, Office of Planning Staff, 444 South 5th Street. This is a CUP for a short-term rental, 23 CUP 0179. As you guys have alluded to, this is also related to 23 CUP 0180, which is a CUP for an accessory dwelling unit. This is an R4 neighborhood form district. It's located off Taylorsville Road in far eastern Louisville Metro. The applicant is asking to short-term rental a studio apartment, which would allow for a maximum number of 3 guests. There's an existing driveway that will be available for guest use. When the individual owner of record maintains their primary residency within another dwelling unit on the property, the short-term rental request is not subject to the separation requirements outlined in item D of the standards, and the owner of the property will reside in the principal structure. This is the zoning map. I apologize for this, can't see it well, but this is the aerial photograph of the current site conditions. To your left is the accessory dwelling unit that we're discussing today, and to the right is the principal structure. This is where the proposed short-term rental would be, in that accessory dwelling unit, which has a studio apartment on the 2nd floor. And this is just another photo of that accessory dwelling unit. So this is a large property and it has several agricultural outbuildings. The proposal is adequately justified for approval, including exemption from the separation requirements based on staff's analysis contained in the standard of a review. The owner will maintain their primary residence in the principal structure, which is located on the same parcel of land as the accessory dwelling unit, to be utilized as a short-term rental. So your required actions today are to approve or deny the conditional use permit to allow short-term rental of a dwelling unit that is not the primary residence of the owner. And there is an associated CUP for the ADU as well.
So, with it being on all the same property, 2 different buildings, will one of them need to be readdressed as like an rear?
So that is in the technical review. I would reach out to, did you want to comment?
We can suggest it, but what we found out is that we can't require it. So it'd be, if you want that, it's probably a good idea for life safety to have a clear address, but sometimes MetroSafe does not want to give out addresses because of their own rules and guidelines for giving out addresses. So I think that's a fair condition to suggest it or encourage it, or however you want to word it, but I don't know if we can require it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Amy.
If we're hearing them both together, do we need to go over whatever staff presentation there is for 180 as well?
That would probably be best, just because
Yeah.
it would need relief. Oh, I didn't change it. So this is the accessory dwelling unit for Yellow Brick Road. This is a conditional use permit to allow an accessory dwelling unit that does not comply with one or more of the listed standards of the Land Development Code. So I'll just skip over some of this case summary and get to the meat of the ADU proposal. So it's proposing that the 2nd floor above the existing 1-car garage will be occupied as an ADU. That ADU floor area is about 464 square feet. The ADU CUP will require relief from items F and C of the conditional use permit standards. So item F is the one that talks about not being used as a short-term rental. Item C says that the unit must be located to the side or the rear of the home. This is kind of a uniquely situated lot that's very large, and so the ADU is actually in front of the principal structure. This is the zoning map. Again, the floor plan is provided by the applicant. Just the same photos showing the site. And the proposal appears to be adequately justified for approval, including relief, and appears to meet all other standards of the conditional use permit. So your required actions today are to approve or deny the conditional use permit to allow an accessory dwelling unit that does not comply with one or more of the listed standards of the Land Development Code in section 4.3.27.
And just to clarify, if the board should choose to grant the conditional use permit for the short-term rental in 23 CUP 179, that would serve as relief from item F in CUP 180.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions for Amy? Don't think so at this time.
you.
I have a speaker card for Christy Leonard. Thank you for hanging in there.
Oh, I didn't get here till 3.
Oh, okay. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Name and address, please.
Christy Leonard, 3901 Yellow Brick Road, Fisherville, Kentucky, or Louisville, 40023. I'm just here to answer your questions. There might be a lot. It's a very unusual property. It is actually almost 20 acres. And there's a third of a mile driveway from Taylorsville Road up to the house. The house faces the rising sun. That's why it doesn't face Taylorsville Road. You can't see the house from the road. We have 6 properties that surround us. One of them is our other property. The 2 of them are Franny Aprils, and one of them is Rhonda Marks. And the other property is a land developer, Jack. So the closest house is a third of a mile from our house, which is Franny. And the next is the Marks, which is over a mile away. 3 of the properties don't have any houses on them. Our garage has just a studio above it when we bought it. When we bought the house, it was a hoarder's house. It was built in 94. A gentleman brought his mother's, the cabin he grew up in Simpsonville, Kentucky. He had it deconstructed and reconstructed in 1994 on the property. He added, that's our residence, he added 2/3 more to the house, and then added the garage, the detached garage, and above that was supposed to be his office. Like I said, when we bought the property, it was a hoarder. We lived in our camper for 3 months, cleaning up just to get in the house. When COVID unfortunately happened, everybody was home, and we cleaned out the garage, and we cleaned up the upstairs. And so the upstairs was completely finished. There was nothing damaged from rodents or anything. It's got a garage. It's got a bathroom and a shower and everything. And so we cleaned it up during COVID, and it's fully furnished now. And when my parents come in town from Western Kentucky, that's where they stay when we visit, because there's not an ounce of extra space in our house when our kids are home. So that's kind of how it is. It's going to be considered like a destination property. It's not. It's going to be priced a little bit more. It's in the woods. We are right on the Bourbon Trail, and we will always be home because it is kind of away from the street no one can see it. We had our neighborhood meeting, and I had already spoken with the Marks and Franny. Jack, the developer, is a little bit more difficult to reach, but the property manager for Franny came, Jeff Frank, and just wanted to see the updates of the property since we purchased it. He hadn't seen it since we'd cleaned it up. So there was nothing, no questions or any issues. So that's kind of how it is. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Sounds like you do know your neighbors. They may be far away.
Right.
So
They
I'm
all,
assuming they would know how to reach you in
Yeah.
the event they needed
yes,
to.
we all have each
Yes.
other's emails and phone
Yes.
numbers, and we actually have a homeowners association in Fisherville, and so we see them every year at that. And I called them before the meeting and told them they were invited if they wanted to come. But I explained in an email, told them I was going to send them an email too about what our plans were more specifically. And just so they didn't get, an unsuspecting postcard that they didn't know what it was.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Yeah, I figure if there's going to be any loud parties, it's just going to affect you.
Right. Well, and we don't want that. We do have, we have a fire pit and we have a barbecue. I mean, it's like a park. Living in a camper was completely worth it. It's a beautiful place and very unusual in Louisville to have that amount of property. And that's the other thing that's very cool is a lot of people don't know Louisville has that. And so I think it's a great opportunity to bring another side of Louisville to people's eyes, that we do have rural areas. So no, our only neighbors are raccoons, which are bothersome.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Ms. Leonard? Don't believe so. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So we need to take 179 first. All right. Members, any discussion on 179? If there is none, I'm ready to entertain a motion on the short-term rental.
Madam Chair, if there's no other discussion, I'd like to make a motion in regards to case number 23 CUP 0179, the location being 3901 Yellow Brick Road. I make a motion that we approve the conditional use permit to allow short-term rental of a dwelling unit that's not the primary residence of the owner. I base that on the staff finding, standard review, testimony we heard here today, and the conditions of approval on page 8 of 8, not just making a suggestion that might want to put a unit number or All right, thank you.
Separate address
I meant like
for emergencies.
for emergency purposes, you might kind of, yeah. All right, thank you.
Okay, so the same discussion that we had on the prior case, the number of guests, that the acreage exceeds 2.
I apologize. That condition of approval is incorrect. As I looked at it, it's a maximum of 3 guests based on the square footage of the studio apartment.
How many
Yeah,
bedrooms?
she's asking, this one's a little bit unique because she's asking for just the accessory dwelling,
okay.
which is smaller
Okay.
than the greater property. So
Okay.
I would go with what Amy just
I looked it
mentioned.
up. I subtracted the bathroom and the kitchen space and just came up with the square footage of the living area, which came out to 3 guests.
So number one condition needs to be 3 guests at any one time.
Yes, correct.
3 guests at any one time.
I mean, that's what it requires if they ever need to come back for more because they're able to expand the space. In this case, the ADU and the short-term rental would need to be modified. So I think they would just have to come back to us. But I think that is what we should do. Just cap it at 3 guests.
I don't think it's been seconded.
Did you need a second now?
Yes.
Yes, second Horton.
Been moved and seconded to approve the short-term rental at 3901 Yellow Brick Road. Please call for vote.
Horton,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Leonhardt,
Yes.
Bozos,
Yes.
Bond.
Yes, short-term rental has been approved. Now let's move on to the accessory dwelling unit. We've heard Amy's testimony. Is there any discussion on the accessory dwelling unit not meeting special standards? I think we've discussed that at length, but if there's any other discussion?
If there's no other discussion, I'd like to make a motion
Please proceed.
for case number 23 CUP 0180, the location being 3901 Yellow Brick Road. I make a motion to approve the conditional use permit to allow accessory dwelling unit that does not meet special standards. I base that on the staff finding, the standard review, the testimonial, with relief to C, being that the location of the unit on the property is unique, and relief of F being that the approval of 23 CUP 0179 gives that release. And also the conditions of approval are on page 7 of 7. And that's all.
Second, Bozos.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the accessory dwelling unit on Yellow Brick Road. Ready for vote?
Horton,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Leonhardt,
Yes.
Bozos.
Yes.
Bond.
Yes, the accessory dwelling unit has been approved. So do you have copies of both staff reports? And okay, if you have any questions on conditions, Amy's available to assist. All right. That's the last case of the day. Is there a motion to adjourn? We are adjourned. We are adjourned. And note that we have 3 meetings this month. We have our next meeting on the 22nd, and then we get to meet again on the 29th. We do. Right there, yeah.